Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Savage 5050 in the house. Make sure if you tune in, please leave a comment. Please like this video. Please share this video. We're trying to get up to at least 1,000 subscribers, and I appreciate everybody who always tune in, especially the people that tune in after it's all over with as well. Make sure you leave comments and like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Today we wanted to talk about exactly what's going on with a lot of these false allegations, right? Is a lot of false allegations going on. Chris Brown was recently a victim of it as well. We all seen DeShaun Watson from the Texans, the football team, who actually just wound up clearing his name as well from false allegations, right? So it's a lot going on, a lot to talk about. We're gonna be mentioning some of this stuff. Give me 1 second. We just getting everything warmed up, letting everybody tune in that want to tune in. All right, so it was a choreographer, professional dancer, right? That was on P. Diddy yacht. Choreographer, professional dancer, FaceTiming one of her girlfriends. Right? On P. Diddy's yacht. So the choreographer had the phone in her hand, letting them know how popping P. Diddy yacht is. And then after that was all over, you got somebody who actually grabbed her phone from her on the yacht, right? Guess who that person was? You'll never guess. So this professional dancer was on her phone with a friend, and nobody else but Chris Brown grabbed that phone out that professional dancer hand while he's on P. Diddy's yacht. So he partying up with P. Diddy, and he seen a girl that was on the other side of that screen, and she was fine. She looked so good. And next thing you know, he was like, yo, you got to come through. You got to come through. Like, we having a good time. We getting turned up. We got drinks, all of that good stuff, right? Oh, man. So the girl, she was real excited about all of that, right? The girl on the other side of that screen was like, yo, I'm trying to get turned up with y'all. Y'all look like y'all having fun. So guess what she did? She got dressed up in her best clothes. Did her makeup, put her thong on, her best good luck thong, right? And she was like, heck yeah, I'm going to the yacht. I'm going to P. Diddy yacht. I'm going to get that clout on Instagram, right? So she went on that to the party to meet up with Chris Breezy, because Chris Breezy was already feeling her already. So she got there, and she got to meet Chris Breezy. She also got to meet, guess who else? P. Diddy. She got to meet P. Diddy. Anna Rodriguez, I appreciate you supporting my channel. So she got to meet P. Diddy and Chris Breezy. That's a double whammy, right? So Chris Brown made her a drink, right? He made her a drink. She liked the drink. Then he made her a mixed drink after that. All right. And then she started getting kind of lightheaded, a little. She was like, she was kind of dozing off a little bit on the yacht. So Chris Breezy was like, yo, like, you seem tired, right? Why don't we go to one of the rooms? Because, you know, P. Diddy yacht, he got a couple of bedrooms on there, right? So he took her to one of the bedrooms, and then he started kissing on her neck, taking her good Lucky Charm thongs off as well. Oh, man. Chris Breezy is a player, right? He's taking it. So it's like almost like he's taking advantage of the situation. All right. So he been drinking. She been drinking. They both drunk together. He got her naked. Oh man, then they had a good time, right? She woke up the next morning. Like, what happened? I don't know what happened. I was with Chris Breezy on the yacht, and now I'm like, I feel like maybe I've been violated. She felt like she'd been violated after she showed Chris Breezy and her was drunk together, but she felt violated the next morning. So Chris Brown, apparently he shot up the club. Chris Brown shot up the club, apparently, right? So he left some residue in her. And she moved on with her life for about 2 years. She'd been violated, but she moved on with her life for about 2 years, but she couldn't sleep at night. She couldn't sleep because she was a victim of a sexual assault crime, right? Because apparently Chris Brown drugged her. And this is all according to her. All of this is according to her. But guess what? That's not how it played out. That was her version of the story, that Chris Brown basically drugged her and took her into the room and violated her. Come to find out, that's not what happened at all. Nope. Guess what she did? Oh, man. It's crazy. She was like this. The next day, the story I told was her version of the story. Obviously, she went on P. Diddy yacht. Chris Brown took her into the room. They had a good time. They both was drinking. That's obvious. They both had a couple of mixed drinks. But she was fully conscious the whole time in reality. And she had a great time. Because guess what? The next morning, Chris Brown actually texted her and was like, hey, I shot up the club last night. So you need to get you might need to go get a plan B. Let me cash up you the money. So Chris Brown cashed up her the money for the plan B, because he know that he went in there raw, and they both had a good time. She had a good time, right? This all happened in December 30th of 2020. So this was over, this was a while back, like 2 years ago. But guess when the lawsuit was filed? The lawsuit was filed only 2 months ago. 2 months ago, there was a lawsuit filed, but this happened 2 years ago. So, and the reason why her lawyer says she didn't come forward is because she's in the medical field. So she didn't want to damage her reputation, is what her attorney is saying. But she was willing. She was with the thing. She was with Chris Brown the whole time, because we also got the receipts here of her texting Chris Brown. She was actually texting him after that for a series of time. So yeah, I don't know if you could really see the screen, but let me show you. I got it right here. So like the next day, of course, the text messages are a little broken up or whatever, but the next day she's like, yep, or he's like, yep. And then he's like, what you doing? She's like, I'm home. I live in Hollywood. And he's like, word, let's link later today. And she said, okay, bet. Your place or mine? He said, mine, probably, with the devil sign. And she said, LOL, okay, bet. You got E? You got E pills? I didn't get to take any last time we met up. Laugh out loud. He said, nah, they was my homie. They was my homies. I don't I don't be getting lit unless my homies got it. Okay, we could chill tonight. Look, what woman want to chill after she allegedly been violated the next day? She still want to hang out with Chris Breezy. I thought he violated her. She still want to hang out with him the very next day. And then Chris Breezy said, okay, I'll try to find some e-pills in the next message. And then she's like, what you doing? And he's like, what's up? I had some ish to do yesterday. And then so he didn't hang out with her. He kind of curved her. And then she was like, I wanted to come over. I wanted to come over. LOL, I'm bored. So let's make some plans tonight, right? So this is just getting crazier and crazier. So with that being said, she was like this. She was all down in on it. She was like, after that, she said, sorry, I fell asleep and I'm on my period, shaking my head. Wow. And I have a question. Do you just be wanting to F me, or can we hang out like on some chill-ish during the day? I know you be busy. It's cool if you don't want to F. I just want to know my role. So she just want to know her role, right? So obviously Chris Breezy is basically ignoring her. Chris Breezy is ignoring her. And then on top of that, now she's getting annoyed. So guess what she did next? She texted him a picture of her private areas. And Chris Breezy kept all of the receipts. Chris Breezy kept all the receipts. Now, this is a lesson for all guys out there, because when you deal with females, even if you're not a celebrity, always after a woman come over, show you a good time, make sure you hit them up the very next day and be like, or not the very next day, when they get home, or tell them to text you. Say, hey, thanks for coming over. I hope you had a good time. And they say, yeah, I had a good time. Yo, keep them receipts. Don't get rid of them, because you never know. You never know what these chicks are going to try. Anyway, this is a crazy story. This is a crazy story. I mean, guys got to be real careful. I mean, this is what happened to Chris Breezy. If it can happen to Chris Breezy, and he's a multi-millionaire, he's a target for these women. They all want that clout. They searching for it. And even him as a millionaire is going through problems. Even him being a millionaire, he's still having trouble with the females when it comes to false accusations and whatnot. So, to bring in a panel, I got my man, Jesus Black Man. You guys are familiar with him. And he's going to be joining the panel to talk about it. Then we got Dion, Master D, coming in to join me as well. So let me bring him in. Yeah. So anyway, Jesus, what do you think about that?
Yep.
You hear me?
It's a crazy situation all around, because it's a shame that we live in a day and age where men are instantly looked at as sexual predators immediately, with no type of evidence supporting any type of statement. A woman can go to the police station and say, this man did X, Y, and Z to me, and they are on the case. They got her back. There's warrants for arrest being filed, all types of crazy stuff. And it's a shame that, like you said, men nowadays have to protect themselves and, save those receipts. Get the only thing that saved Chris Brown were those text messages.
That's it.
If he didn't have those text messages, Chris Brown would be rotting in the cell right about now. They indicted him. she would have gone through with her $20 million lawsuit, which is what she's
Mm-hmm.
seeking in damages from him. It's also disturbing that a woman who is quote unquote in the medical field likes to get high on ecstasy. That is not a good look. What her lawyer is saying, well, she didn't want to come forward because of her profession and what all that. This woman shouldn't have a job anymore. She should not have a job from this point on, because who's going to want to work? What man will want to work around a woman that is known for making false accusations of this caliber? And then on top of that, I wouldn't feel comfortable. What if this was my doctor or my nurse? I wouldn't feel comfortable being treated or diagnosed by this person, knowing that they get high on ecstasy. Now, what people do in their personal lives, that's one thing. But when you are a serious professional in any type of background that deals with medical or legal stuff or anything, that's a big no-no. And then, like I said, the only thing that saved Chris Brown in this instance was the fact that he had those text messages. And it's crazy that, we have to, as men today, we have to, we're guilty until proven innocent. We have to have evidence to refute unsubstantiated claims. It's really ridiculous. It really is. And like you said, Chris Brown is a multi-millionaire, but this happens to regular 9-to-5 guys. This happens every day in this country to dudes who are not millionaires. The average Joe, and it happens almost every day in this country. A man is being falsely accused of inappropriate sexual behavior towards a woman. And it's like, like I said, it's a shame that we as men, are always looked at as sexual predators. Like, you can't be around women or anything because they think your mind, you're fucking them with their eyes or undressing them with your eyes. Like, it's ridiculous and it's a shame.
It's almost unheard of. I mean, this woman is I don't believe she was actually going into the medical field. I believe that's just something her attorney was saying to make her sound a little better. But yeah, celebrities and rich people, they got the resources to actually fight this kind of stuff. The average Joe don't have this kind of stuff. And honestly, like you said, Jesus, Chris Brown probably would have been behind bars if he didn't keep them receipts. And not only that, this happened in the year of 2020. So this happened 2 years ago. And she just now filing a lawsuit for $20,000. She's just filing that lawsuit in January of this year, 2 years later.
Once again, yeah. Look at the women who filed against Bill Cosby. We're talking about like 40, 50 years later. And
they didn't have no receipts.
Again, no receipts. Once again, and then it's like, any average Joe like me, you, any other guy out here who don't have the money and the resources to defend us properly, we'd have been nailed to the cross. Even though we didn't do it and we were innocent, we just seen no way out of it because the courts is always going to take the woman's word regardless. We'd have been copping plea deals just to get the hell out of jail.
Anna, thanks for being a person in the chat. We appreciate that. Yo, Dion, what do you think about this?
I think it's insane the way these celebrities and millionaires have to pay $1 million to a law firm or a lawyer to defend over some BS, and they'll never see that money again. I mean, even if the court say, okay, the lady's responsible for paying him his lawyer fees back, she's never going to be able to pay that type of money back to him, period. So that's kind of crazy. and the fact that the average man cannot afford $1 million lawyer or a law firm is another thing. Then on top of that, in my opinion, which this might be a little controversial, but the circumstances, the nuance should be took into consideration in court. Like, okay, you're a multi-millionaire singer, playboy, and then you got P. Diddy with you, like y'all on a yacht. And what the hell do you think is going to happen? Are you kidding me? You put yourself in that situation.
So you're saying they should
where
factor
more
in
than
motive.
likely you're going on a yacht with these men that's players that sing about being players all day, every day, and you know that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the law should take that into consideration. Like, all right, even if she did have sex with these guys, like, she put herself in a sexual situation. The law doesn't consider any of that, which, in my opinion, it should. It'd be like, all right, these young niggas, they gonna fuck. Like, you going on a boat with these niggas, like, what the hell you think gonna happen? Like,
yeah, like you already know what's going on. You're not going into that joint blind, like, oh yeah, this is the church party. No, you know what happens on these yachts.
Yeah, we already know. I mean, like I said in the beginning, the professional dancer who was already on the yacht having a good time, drinking and everything like that, right? Chris
let's
Breezy
just call
took
her
her
what
phone
she
and was
is,
like,
a stripper whore.
well, we'll call her. They call her Jane Doe. Jane Doe is what the media call her because they're protecting her identity, even though she should be completely exposed, right? She should be completely exposed, but the media is protecting her identity, and they're not exposing her. And obviously, you see the media; they're quiet. They was tearing TMZ, MSNBC, CNN, all of them networks. They was ripping Chris Brown apart. But then when he showed the receipts, guess what they do? They're quiet. They're not saying anything. They're not retracting like, hey, sorry, Chris Brown, blah, blah, blah. I mean, he should honestly sue the media because they're not even retracting their statements about Chris Brown. They're quiet. This man completely cleared his name. And guess what? Jane Doe is her name, they call her. Her attorney, once he's seen the text messages, her attorney dropped her. Once he said, look, he got the receipts. I can't defend you no more. You got to find a new attorney because I can't work with you. I didn't know this was going to come out. I thought that maybe he deleted the messages or got 3 or several new phones since the year of 2022. I thought he got the new Galaxy Z3 or something like that, or the iPhone 13 by now. I didn't know that he still had the receipts from what you did, you know.
Smart man.
Honestly, and that's the thing, you got to keep your phones, you got to store your phones a little bit before they even wind up dying out on you.
That's exactly why I don't delete shit. I have text messages in my phone from 2013 because God forbid some woman who got bitter, because this is what happened. Shorty got bitter that Chris Brown was ignoring her. She thought she was going to, be this man's wife and he was going to take care of her. And when she found out that she was actually really just a booty call to him, she got bitter and she went out and she did some nut shit, which is exactly why I don't delete nothing. I don't delete text messages. I don't delete pictures. I don't delete videos. I have videos in my shit and pictures in my phone from 2003, just in case someone wants to crap up out of nowhere and try to lie on me.
I don't blame you.
I can present that.
And honestly, it does a disservice because, like, all three of us could agree, like, guys that really take advantage of women and drug them and all of that, I don't have no sympathy for them guys at all. Like, the guys that actually are out there committing these sexual assaults towards women and violating their rights, and the woman's not willingly doing it, I completely disagree. And I think them guys should be thrown in prison. However, there's a difference between actually being sexually assaulted and committing false allegations against a man. And the reason why they don't really go after these women, because she won't suffer no jail time. She won't suffer any jail time or any consequences. Her only consequence is she ain't getting no money. And her name isn't even being released. So there's no shame. We talked about this last time. We need to bring shame back. There's no shame to the game. These females, they can say whatever they want and they won't even be shamed. You see, they're protecting this woman by calling her name Jane Doe, instead of releasing her name as the Jezebel that she is.
Court documents should be public information. So
only against men they are.
So it should be nothing, to look up this, because she's not a victim. So it's not like we're protecting the identity of a victim of sexual assault and rape. We're protecting the identity of a liar. And when we do that as a society, we let women know that it's okay to make false allegations against men, because nothing's going to happen. We're going to protect you from every harm. I think she should be outed. I think her name should be the headline of every damn news media out there. Her personal life should be destroyed. Her career should be over. Her career should be over, because nobody would want to work with a woman like that. I sure as hell would want to work with a woman that I gotta watch how I talk and interact with, because she might one day be like, "Oh yeah, he in the break room he touched my titty." Like, nah, bro.
Right, and honestly, like men, we got to be careful. Like, we got to keep receipts. Honestly, I never thought about it, but I did do it. Like, you always tell a woman, if she's driving home from your house, you're calling her Uber, tell her, text me when you get home. Let me know everything okay. And then after she texts you, hey, I made it home safely, you text her back, say, hey, I had a good time. I hope we could do it again. And most likely she ain't going to think none of it. She's going to text you back and say, oh, yeah, I had a good time too. And then I was like, yo, I like that thing you did for me, whatever, earlier, blah, blah, blah. And she might say, yeah, I do that. And then keep that. That basically could clear your name right there. Honestly, when it comes to meeting up with chicks, keep text messages.
But it's so sad that we have to play these games of charades and these games of semantics just to make sure that our backs are covered. Like, it's crazy, and it's like, and no one does anything. No politician, no president, no governor, no mayor, no anybody has put in place laws that can actually protect men against things like this. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, they're suppressing the message now.
In my opinion, it's kind of crazy that women want to be equal to men, quote unquote, and want to say they want equality and all this stuff. But in reality, men don't do the same thing women do. Men aren't going around accusing women of sexual assault and sexual this and that and the third. Like, if a man is not talking about women or raping them and all that crap. From being at a party 2 years ago.
Try not to use the R word.
Oh yeah, okay. But imagine if a man just pops up and say, "Oh, I've been, sexually assaulted 2 years ago, and I want $20 million from Miley Cyrus or something."
Yeah, I feel you.
Damn, hit him on 10 out here getting guys. Damn,
I see the last poet. He tuned into us.
But the thing about it is even when men
give me a thumbs up when you're ready.
I think this is why a lot of men, or a lot of the issues when it comes to men experiencing sexual assault, is when, if a man goes to the police and say, hey, listen, this woman X, Y, and Z, she sexually assaulted me, they'll practically laugh at him. They'll say, what? This one, you like you 6'2", 250 pounds, you let a little woman sexually assault. They'll laugh at him and they'll embarrass him.
How did Cardi B? How was she able to brag about it and be cool? Like,
No,
yeah,
the
this is
comment.
what I do. Like
Hold on,
I
hold on.
drug niggas. I fuck them. I do whatever. I take their money. I do
Take
this.
their money out
You
their
know what I mean?
wallets, like, and no charges, no indictments,
A
no
perfect,
no
a perfect
victims coming
example
forward.
of, to back up what you were saying, Jesus Black Man, about like how they don't really care about when men go through it. Look at what they did to Terry Crews when he came out about being violated. They shamed him like, you're a man, you shouldn't care. You know what I mean? It's like, shut up.
Yeah, like
Anyway,
nobody cares about. Okay, so you were sexually abused. You know, no one cares. You're a man. Like, get over it. Like, it's ridiculous.
so
And that circumstance, it was a little different as a man on man, and it's kind of like awkward as hell. You know, if a man try to violate you like that. But as far as like men getting sexually assaulted by women, like men are not coming out about that at all. Like, we don't care because we literally don't care. Like,
yeah,
if a woman sexually like start feeling on me, if 10 women started doing that, I'll be all right with it. I'm be like, even if I was in a
even if they're
situation
ugly.
where I'm like, oh, stop, you know,
Yeah,
I'm
but
still
see,
cool with it inside.
but that's the exact reason why men who have actually been sexually assaulted. That is why. Not saying you're wrong and feeling like that. That's your own personal thing. But this is why those issues are never taken seriously, because they expect us as men to, oh, you should be enjoying it. You should be happy a woman is grabbing on your genitals. You should be happy. But this is the double standard, because if a woman walks up to me and slaps my ass, I'm supposed to be cool with it and laugh it off. But if I do the exact same thing, I'm a rapist, I'm a misogynist, I'm a sexual offender, I'm about to do 3 to 10 in prison. It's like, it should never be that way. Men should never have to be forced or be made to be comfortable with sexual assault or things that are done to them sexually that they have
Yeah,
that they don't want to. And there
I
should be respect all
But
around the board.
women
agree.
do not want equality. They want to be treated better than men. Period.
I know we're
Like,
gonna get to that in a second. However, I got my man, the last free poet. He's in the
What's up,
building.
brother?
Hey, what's
Yeah,
going on, man?
the last free poet on my Instagram. That's actually like my more safer page. That's the page I use for like my literature and the stuff that I want to publish. But if you go to motherfucking underscore Megatron, that's my actual political page, and that's where I do a lot of my red pill content and political content. Now, to reiterate on what the brother was saying, the sexual assault factor is more ingrained in the court system to affect women, because under like the biological stance, men have to be actually aroused to be, but that's not necessarily the case. There could be several factors that are going on in women sexually assaulting, especially boys. On Reddit the other day, I'm actually trying to look for it here on my laptop. There was a, and I actually picked up the situation on TikTok, where it talked about a 14-year-old boy being being essayed by a 20-year-old, I believe, a teacher or a woman. I'm not 100% sure, but then he was then chased by that woman in the courts to pay child support, and he lost. And this SA victim is now paying child support on a child that was due to the fact that he was SA'd as a 14-year-old child. So to say that there are disparities and biases in the family court is an understatement. First and foremost, in order for us to fix interrelationship dynamics, we have to make extreme reverses in the way the courts perceive men. One of the most important things that we have to reverse is the fact that the children are always better off with the mother. Now, we live in a day and age in which women are not necessarily the best option because their economic situation is far worse than fathers, and the jury's already out. Fathers, single fathers themselves are more economically stable than single mothers. So therefore, that's a fallacy. That's just because they act more emotional in court. And so the courts always had that bias to prefer the mother over the father. Another thing that has to change, it's in the birth of the feminist movement to counterbalance with the MAGA movement. That's all it was meant to do. It was meant to counterbalance. too much of either extreme, putting the sexes against each other, will not be beneficial for the future of the nuclear family that's been under attack for an extremely long time, especially in minority communities, right, of Hispanic and Black origin. So there's a whole range of factors when it comes to men being violated. They get violated more when it comes to there's a lot of men there's a lot of underreporting when it comes to men being violated physically. So there's a lot of underreporting. And if men were actually more violent, then why is it that in lesbian couples you see a higher report of domestic violence? Therefore, in lesbian couples, and females tend to be a lot more violent. They may be more frail, so when a man commits violence, it's a lot more damaging because he's a stronger vessel. But those are the things that we need to really look into when it comes to how we're moving forward. I think that the MAGTOW movement is doing great in helping young men kind of protect themselves. But then we have to also, once you're talking about going and starting a family, it's a very tricky situation because the family court is set up to destroy us. And so I'm more of a Coach Greg Adams type of guy. Like, I don't believe in the hope strategy. I think that you're going to put yourself in a very, very dangerous situation if you enter the family court system.
Shout out to the last poet. Hey, I agree with you. Hey, man, 100% red pill. No stepdaddy season over here. Hey, but I agree with you, man, because here's the thing. Chris Brown was on a yacht with P. Diddy. It was a professional dancer who hit this girl up. He took her phone and invited her friend over. She claimed that she was basically violated 2 years later. 2 years later, she claimed she was violated. Now she's coming after Chris Brown for $20 million. Even though Chris Brown recently dropped them receipts. So she was lying. However, guess what? Her name's not released to the public. Her name is considered Jane Doe. And her name's not being dragged through the mud. And the media destroyed Chris Brown. And now the media, they're not even doing anything to retract on their statements of all the negativity they gave Chris Brown. Right?
He's got to bust a Kyle Rittenhouse on the ass. That's what he needs to do. He needs to sue them for defamation of character, especially if they dragged his name through the mud and there wasn't enough proof. Snoop Doggy Dogg, from my understanding, got sued recently also for something that happened back in the day.
Snoop Dogg.
So basically, right now, what the courts are telling us, is that any woman in your past can come back and sue you as soon as you get a little bit of fame and clout under your belt because they felt uncomfortable at a certain point in the past with you. That sets a very dangerous precedent.
Okay, so I guess this is the question that Anna Rodriguez have for the whole panel. If you have a moment for a question for the panel, if a female wants to counterbalance feminism, how does she move forward away from it?
I have a response to that. Okay. You have to uphold your traditional role, because what I noticed was, baby girl, come here. You need to go to the room. You're making too much noise. So you have to counter it by explaining that there's nothing wrong with being a traditional woman. Because what I've seen in the conservative movement, I've seen a lot of feminists that like guns. The feminist movement is not strictly on the left. It's also on the right. And so what happens is that men don't want a competitor. That's not what they signed up for when they want a helpmate. And so I think that not single moms, I'm sorry, that's a completely another subject. I think that stay-at-home moms or wives get attacked. Let me give you an example to answer your question. A woman who stays home and takes care of her children and gives them a moral compass and is doing what she has to do for her husband so that her husband has peace has done way more for the world than a ridiculous boss babe. Because a boss babe is only a queen in clown world. In the real world, she's a court jester. She's not a queen. A queen is a woman who's giving her children a moral compass because we have a bunch of children that don't have one. We have children being raised by the states. That's why we're having a disbalance in generations.
Hey man,
So that's
you definitely stated some facts there. I'm gonna go to my man Jesus Black Man. You understand the question? How do you answer Anna Rodriguez when it comes to what should women do?
Just to piggyback off the poet there is, once again, if you want to move forward and away from it, especially this venomous feminism movement, this venomous toxic modern womanism movement, is to once again be a more traditional woman. A lot of these modern women want men to be traditional, yet they want to be modern. Like the poet said, the same thing I've said many times on this channel. Real men, a true man, a high value man, is not looking for a partner. These women think because they have degrees and they make X amount of money per year, and that's all fine, well, and good. That's good. But you cannot be a partner. A man is not looking for a partner. He's not looking, like the poet said, for competition. So it's basically more so, it's more so of, once again, just remembering our roles. There's nothing wrong. A lot of women don't want to be traditional women because when they hear the things that a traditional woman does or is accountable for, they're almost always attacked. It's like, well, girl, why would you want to, sit in the house and take care of that man's baby? And, well, why do you bring him his food? Why do you cook for him? He can do that by himself. Or why don't he help you with the kids? We've all, and it's not, it's not just to, bash women. Some men as well today have forgotten their roles as men. And some women, a lot of women, have forgotten their roles as women. And that's because they wanted to be, there's nothing wrong with being strong and independent. But when you're looking to be a wife or, raise a family with a man, there's no more independence. You cannot be independent and be, a partner. Those two things don't go hand in hand.
It's no more of that strong woman thing. I get it. So, hey,
no, it's because women think that, a lot of modern women think that if they get married to a man or they get into a serious relationship to a man, that it's just something wrong with them giving up their independence, like they're sacrificing or something, or part of them is being killed. Like there's something wrong with being submissive to her man or doing what her man asks her.
Yeah,
so
Anna
that's
Rodriguez
basically really how you move away from.
She said, shoot, being home and not working sounds pretty damn good to me. Laugh out loud.
Yeah, well, if women wanted to be independent, why don't they go into the roles that are dangerous? Why do they choose the comfort roles? Why aren't they why aren't they lined up to become brick masons or lined up to become, working in the rigs, or why aren't they lined up to hang electrical cables?
I've said the same thing, poet.
You know what?
I've said the same thing over and over.
I got a quick question for the panel, right? I want everybody, I'm gonna go in order. Jesus, starting with you. Obviously, we are living in, you heard of the MGTOW movement. We heard of Red Pill. We heard of what's the other one? Not MGTOW, Red Pill, and the manosphere, right? We all know what the manosphere is. All right. Break that down. What exactly is MGTOW? What is manosphere? And what is Red Pill? Jesus, I'm gonna start with you.
Well, brother, I'm gonna be honest. I'll be honest with you. I've never heard, like, the manosphere I've heard of. MGTOW I've never really heard of. So I really couldn't give an opinion on that or what it means. Red Pill I've also heard of. It's basically, especially like when it comes to like the manosphere and the Red Pill, it's just, manosphere is just trying to be a man really in today's quote unquote modern society. I'll put it, say, modern double standard society. And it's almost looked at, in a negative light as the Red Pill is as well, because people today don't want to take accountability for their actions. And being a man in this society is becoming harder and harder because you have issues, untalked about issues, such as the case that happened with Chris Brown, the case that happened with what's that
Deshaun
quarterback from
Watson.
the Texans?
Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. So it's hard to be a man.
So what does red pill mean to you though? Like red pill.
Red pill basically to me means just being not really woke. I don't want to say woke, but understanding and acknowledging the true reality of this world. People call it being woke, but
I'm not like, here's the thing. I'm talking about, I know their red pill, basically is on the right. I'm talking about being red pill when it comes specifically to women.
Okay.
All right, let me see. You have to with red pill when it comes, especially when it comes to women.
These are not typically guys that's red pill aren't the guys typically out there looking to get married and looking to be with women, right?
Because they understand and they understand, potentially, life-changing truth about how it is to deal with women nowadays.
Yeah.
It's very hard to deal with the modern woman today.
Would you consider yourself like a red pill, like when it comes to women?
Probably, which is probably why I keep picking the wrong women. But but it's like it's very hard because you can't change if a person doesn't want to change their understanding or outlook, you can't do it for them. So when I'm trying to date women, especially in this day and age, and I tell them how I am or the things that I expect of them as a woman, they always shoot it down with some modern feminism crap about how,
right.
I'm gonna wear what I want, and I'm gonna do what I want.
Is it a such thing as an alpha female?
No.
Not at all. That is a fallacy.
Yeah.
That is a fallacy, and that is a very toxic term that the feminists. You can't be an alpha female. Maybe in a wolf pack. Maybe in a hyena clan, because in the hyena clan, females are the hierarchy. They rule the clan. But
well, I mean, they are, but they're going to be at the dog food section.
Yeah, but when it comes to the Homo sapien, the human, no, there's no such thing as an alpha female. And if there is a such thing as an alpha female, I can almost guarantee you that she's 40 years old. She's never been married, or she's been divorced several times, and don't no man want her. So she's single with a whole bunch of dogs.
Yeah, let me go to my man. Let me go to my brother Dion. All right, so explain real quick. Manosphere, red pill, MGTOW movement. Like, what does all of that mean to you?
I think MGTOW.
And what are you?
MGTOW means men walking their own way. So basically men, it stands for men walking their own way. It means like basically they'll still maybe go on a date with a woman just to have sex, but other than that, women are pretty much pointless. Other than that, they only do business with men, and just like they live in a man's world.
Are you a
women are just for sex?
Are you a supporter of that?
I mean, if that's where you feel comfortable, like if that's the way you feel comfortable living your life, I think it could be okay for you.
Okay, what about red pill or manosphere?
Red pill mean that you know the knowledge, like you know how women think, you know how, for the most part, you know how men think, you know how women are in general. You understand the their characteristics.
Right. And Last poet, what about you?
Well, men going their own way is actually, if you really want to know the truth, men going their own way is the polar opposite of feminism for men, because that is what it signifies: men going their own way. I'm MGTOW, so I'm more towards Coach Greg Adams. I don't have a hope strategy. I'm a free agent. What I do is I do me, and females see that, and they see my energy, and they see, and just to make it clear, I come out in the red pill movement, or in the MAGTOW movement. I come out of the subsection of the father's rights movement. So, which is a very, very, like, as a single father. So it's not really that spoken of within the manosphere. So I come out from the father's rights movement. And then I got into, Coach Greg Adams and Kevin Samuels, and, and there's a little bit of beef within the movement. Like there's a little bit of beef here and there, but I'm not going to get into all that.
Are you a fan of alpha male strategy?
Well, I'm there. You can't teach nobody the beta to be alpha anyway.
No, I mean, have you ever heard of AMS?
Yeah. Yeah, so you can't. A lot of stuff is really just to get a bunch of men kind of hyped up in a bunch of stuff. No, I'm pro the nuclear family. The only reason that I don't cling to the hope strategy is because I've seen too much.
The hope strategy,
right?
Hey, I'm right there with you, man.
So,
me and you were like,
right. So let me give you an example. Let me give you an example of what I mean. A little bit of my background. I'm from the hood, so I gangbanged and so dope. So it's like you ask Darth Vader, right? Darth Vader becomes a Jedi. He goes over to the good side, but he knows the dark side. Like he's seen too much. Like as a dope dude selling to soccer moms that wanted to succeed me, selling to and seeing too much outside in the streets and in the game. I just didn't know the terminology, but I had already been red pilled. Like I had already seen too much because I come from that aspect of the streets so when I became a father and I began to look at my daughter, the reason that I want my daughter to grow up and be a wife and teaching her how to be a wife is letting her know how men think. So a lot of men sabotage their children and they really sabotage their daughters. It's not that I'm against marriage. I do want, but I'm not going to settle. Like, in other words, somebody asked me, and I was telling you that when we were talking on the phone, somebody said, well, you don't believe in paying nobody's way. I don't, because you want to be a feminist and you pay your own way. So, and I'm not going to share my resources with somebody that's already holed out. Like, why? You got children and everything. Well, I'm not going to waste my resources on you. That's crazy. So if I pay someone's way, it's because they're young, low body count or no body count, and they come in from their parents' house to my house. That's the only way. I'm not going to sit there and waste money and simp and spend all my money and start tricking on no female that's busted up and hold out. I'm not.
Yeah, especially if you already basically been ran through. And that's that's the thing a lot of females don't understand, that men, we don't get ran through. Females could get ran through, right? So it's a huge difference between body count. Men are respected based off of how many women they've been with. And women are discredited based off of how many men they've been with, right? So it's a huge difference there. However, I wanted to real quick, we're going to move on from Chris Brown because I wanted to get into this DeShaun Watson story, right? So I'm going to go through the panel real quick. Based off of what you guys know, this woman that falsely accused Chris Brown of basically violating her rights and so-called allegedly drugging her, all was debunked. How much time do you think that a woman like her should receive? Do you think she should receive any time? Do you think she should receive a fine? What do you think should be the consequence for what this so-called John Doe woman did / Jezebel is her real name? What she did to Chris Brown. Jesus, we're going to start with you.
Honestly, first off, falsifying police reports is already, I believe, a felony in most states. So she should be charged on that one. Honestly, I think if a woman does something like that, give her 3 to 7 years in jail. Let her think it over. Because I think that would really send a message and set a precedent that we're no longer going to tolerate this type of behavior. We're no longer going to tolerate women lying on men, and there'd be like absolutely no consequences whatsoever. You can remain anonymous. It should be a felony, and there should be laws on the books that, once again, like I stated before, are there to protect men in these situations, especially when it comes out that the woman was lying. It just goes back to the video that we watched last week on the panel, where the bitter mother or bitter ex-wife lied to her 3 young daughters about their father sexually assaulting them when they were younger, and it came out through lie detector tests that it was all a lie. It was made up, and it's just like, okay, well, do you have anything to offer? It's like, oh well, I'm sorry. You should have fought harder. Or it's like we just let these women get away with just an apology and a slap on the wrist when they should be looking at jail time.
Exactly.
Because you destroy a man's life with that. Once again, like I said before, once
it's
you're
hard to recover from that.
With the colors, once you're stained with the colors of being a sexual predator or a sexual deviant or a sex offender, no matter if it comes out that it was a lie or not, people are still going to look at you in that light. 10 years from now, people are still going to talk about, well, remember when Chris Brown was accused of rape? They do it to Kobe all the time. And
all the time, even after he died. Hey, I appreciate that, Jesus. Hey, I appreciate everybody who's tuned into the live stream. Make sure you leave me a comment to let me know that you're there. I'll give you a shout out for real. I appreciate that. Yo, so Dion, what's going on? Should this woman receive jail time? What should be her consequence for what she did?
In my opinion, they should receive the same amount of jail time that the man would have received if he actually committed that crime.
I agree 100%. How about you, Poet?
Well, I think it should just be based on fairness. Whatever the amount of time, whatever the legislation produces, but there should be consequences because you can't just go falsely accusing people. Now, in a lot of places and in a lot of states, they don't want to pass legislation to do so because they don't want to discourage actual victims. But the people that actually do suffer from stupid nonsense like this are actual victims, are people who really were sexually abused. And so when you have the hashtag Me Too movement, all it did, it downgraded sexual assault, or SA. I don't know the algorithm. I hate this stupid algorithm now. So they downgraded SA to something. It's the same thing as when you call all people, the R word, the racist.
Mm-hmm.
Everything becomes racist. So then you downgrade actual acts of hate crimes and stuff. You know what I mean? So we can't live in a society like that. We can't live in a society where things get downplayed. Just the same thing that's happening with events, comparison and events. Comparison what happened in 9/11 to the stuff that happened in January. That was stupid. You can't compare the two. Those are, there's 3,000 people that died. You can't compare, people going up to acting a damn fool to 3,000 families who suffered. So when you do things like that, which is it's purposeful. So it hurts entire segments of our community, and it further creates a divide. So where I'm at a crossroads with my content, because although I am MagTow, I am a free agent, I also believe that the nuclear family is vital for the survival of our children and for their mental health. So we all as men and women need to actually become red pill so that we can begin to make changes and legislation to stop this nonsense, because it really hurts actual people who have gone through stuff. So I think that states need to look at what happened with Jussie Smollett. You know what I mean? He went out there and, he got time because he went out there and wasted everybody's time on some ridiculous nonsense. So, there has to be some kind of repercussion. I don't know if it should be the same amount of time that the dude that was going to get accused was going to get, because you can't compare a false allegation, although God does, biblically speaking, hates a lying tongue, with an actual essay. But that's fair, though. What Brother Dion was saying was fair. But I think it should go based on legislation. Whatever we have in the books, and we need to pass laws to stop people from making false allegations. If there already is, we need to enforce them. If there already is laws, we need to enforce them. So that's my 2 cents on that.
That's actually crazy. It's actually crazy that you said that, Poet, because if you look at it, once again, we see the double standard in our court system. Whereas Juicy Smollett can lie about being assaulted, like beat up, and he gets jail time. And a woman lies about being SA'd and gets nothing.
Right. Yeah, and you're right. Yeah, there is a double standard, and it sucks.
Yeah, they gave him like 190 days in jail and like 3 or more years of felony probation. Like it's crazy. All because he lied about getting beat up.
Yeah, and then also they should have you know how they have the list for sex offenders and all this stuff. They should have a list or a map full of these women with these false allegations.
So they never get dated again. So no one ever takes them out on a date. So they'll be sexless the rest of their life.
Basically,
They should never.
yeah.
A woman who falsely accuses a man of rape should never get penis from the community ever.
Yeah, it should be a list of women that do this stuff. You know what I mean?
She should be ostracized completely from the community.
That's like Savage says, bring shame back. We should start shaming them.
Yeah, exactly. And
hey, they shame the men.
the best, right?
They shame the men. You know who they empowered? They empowered single moms. That's why we have the highest incarceration rate in the world.
Yeah, we're gonna. I mean, Chris Brown already knew the game, right? Yeah. So anyway, Chris Brown already knew the game. So anyway, let's get into this, right? We got DeShaun Watson, right? Everybody know about DeShaun Watson. He was the quarterback for the
Clemson
Texans,
Tigers,
right? For the Texans, when everything wound up going down, right? So basically, this guy's worth $50 million, $50 million quarterback, black man, whatever the case may be, right? So he played for the Houston Texans. I believe he basically got falsely accused around the same time Chris Brown was going through that situation. He got falsely accused too. And what happened with DeShaun is he had to sit out all of last season, but I think he still had like a $30 million contract. So he still got paid like $5 million or $10 million, right? To still basically sit out throughout the season based off of the contract. And he was never like actually prosecuted. So he was under investigation and going through the trial, whatever the case was. So this guy basically, he still was receiving money, even though he was sitting on a bench. The grand jury recently, I think this past yesterday, decided that they're not going to press any charges. So he beat 22 counts, which is like unheard of. He beat 22 counts of charges of assault on these 304s, right? So now he's good on the criminal aspect. DeShaun Watson beat that. However, there still have 22 counts of civil charges pending against him, but he beat it legally, so he could still. So it looked like he's going to be playing, probably, as a lot of teams already lined up and decided to basically take this guy to be their quarterback for next year, or for this upcoming season rather. But basically, he beat the charges. They didn't have enough evidence to actually go through with prosecution, right?
Well, what happened was that in a lot of these college campuses, brother, not to interrupt you, they created this concept called consent remorse. And so that's very dangerous because they're teaching these girls in these college campuses this consent remorse nonsense. So basically what it is, you go out with some female, right? You know, whatever, you finesse her, blase, both of y'all consensually as two adults agree to smash. You smash, you don't call her the next day. She gets in her feelings about you not calling her the next day, and all of a sudden she has consent remorse. So then basically she'll go up and say that, yes, she agreed to have intimate relations with you under duress.
Yeah. So.
And so basically it's a flawed ideology, but it's being entertained in college campuses, and then it gets spilled into the legal system. It hasn't gone into the legal system because in the legal system it sounds like BS. Because in the legal system, you have to have everything in the right. But in the civil system, a lot of nonsense gets entertained way more than it does in the, in the criminal system. So you guys have to be very careful with this new lingo that's floating around in college campuses and the way these, I call them lefty weirdos are wording their nonsense. So I don't even date. I don't even date people based on if their political ideology is not in par with mine. I mean, my actual commentary stage name is Megatron. So I come from the MAGA movement. So I don't even date outside, and I'm very careful within the movement, like not to even entertain women that might even be flawed ideologically. So, but just to protect myself, there's an entire segment of people that from one political party that I will not even date at all, like at all. And I'll give you an example. My daughter's pharmacist was a very beautiful woman, and she gave me her Instagram and her phone number, and she wanted me to smash. I went into her Instagram, and she was super lefty for me, so I said, "Nah, I'm good." I didn't even I didn't even call her or nothing. I mean, that's just my 2 cents on that. That's how I protect myself. I'm not saying it's 100% proof, but there's some conservative women out there that are undercover.
So Jesus, with this whole DeShaun Watson thing, you heard about all of this stuff that's going down with him? How he beat the criminal charges that he still got civil charges pending.
Yeah, it's the same thing that happened with O.J. Simpson. Okay, yeah, we don't have enough evidence to move forward criminally in the indictments, but you still have 22 counts of sexual misconduct in the civil courts. And like Prophet said, poet said, the civil courts entertain a lot more foolery than the criminal courts would, because in civil court, you don't really have to have too much evidence to substantiate your case. All you have to do is go in there, and if there's one hint that something wasn't consensual or whatever, they'll hit him in the head. So once again, it's still a shame that we live in a world now that men, especially high value men who make a lot of money, we have to protect ourselves from women, and it shouldn't be this way. It's like you have to walk around with non-disclosure forms on you and have these women sign them before you even take them out on a date, because you don't know what'll happen when a woman gets bitter or angry at you for not calling her back or texting her first or saying you love her, when you hang up. Like, who knows? Like, it's ridiculous.
I agree. Any comments to that, Master D?
Well, when we talk about flaws in the system, I would say this is the biggest one. What's going on with women and men not having their rights. It's the biggest flaw within the system. Out of all the flaws that anyone can mention, these little minor bullcrap flaws, this is the actual flaw. This is the one that's messing our country up.
I agree 100%. So
can I just because I see Sonia asked a question. She said random question. When men get accused by women, does race matter? Yes, it does. I'm going to say 100% it really does, because men of color, men from minorities are instantly looked at and scrutinized more than let's just say a white man. If a black guy does something, they're instantly a criminal. Once again, they're also guilty until proven innocent. But they always give the white man a leeway. They always say, well, I know Tom, and Tom would never do nothing like that. It's never in his character, So I think when it comes to accusations of sexual assault against men, I think absolutely that race does play a huge factor in the investigation and the prosecution of these men, because it seems like they go harder after black and people of minority than they do white guys, unless you're like Jerry Weinstein or somebody.
Well, I disagree to the extent, and I'm a Chicano. I'm Chicano. So I think that it's based on depending on who your DA is. Because if yes, race does matter, but it's a sticky and slippery slope. If it's a woke black DA woman and you're a white man, you're in last place. If it's a Republican white male and he has the good old boy mentality and you're a black assailant, then you're in last place. So it all depends on circumstance, and it all depends on which precinct and which jurisdiction and what is the mentality of the DA. Because if for example, if you would have, it's the same thing as I just posted on Instagram, minorities killing a bunch of people that were of the white race. No one ever said anything on the news about it because it wasn't something that was going to get clicks. But if it's a white person doing something to a minority, then they know that that's clickbait. So they're going to perpetuate it to create more racial tension and create a racial divide in our country, which is also unnecessary because in the 80s and the 90s, we had done so well. We did so well in the 80s and the 90s in race relations. That was the best generation to grow up in. But nobody gave a damn. We were all, you could talk to anybody from my generation and we could remember the Dream Team. We could remember the Ninja Turtles. We could remember just certain things that, our generation was bonded by the pop culture that was, did you wear Jenkos or did you wear parachute pants? We all laughed at when Nilly Vanilli got caught lip singing. We just remember,
I was at that concert.
Yeah, so we all remember certain things, and that was a beautiful thing about our generation, that we have a culture of reference point. Now these kids don't have no reference point, so there's no commonality, and that's why our country's in trouble. So I would agree to disagree with you, yes, but it's based on who's the DA. Right. It's just look at the prime example in Seattle. You had tons of riots and people burning. The DAs let them go. You had certain thing happen somewhere else and people got thrown the book at them. So it's not not as clear cut as people want it to be.
So I mean, this story, in my humble opinion, it actually gets a little more juicy because we got Tony Busby, right? Tony Busby was actually the representative of he's the attorney that actually represented the 20. Well, I don't think he represented all 22, but he represent a fair portion of the women who actually came out against DeShaun Watson about what he allegedly did to these women. Now, this guy was running for mayor. I think Donald Trump actually supported him until he found out about Donald Trump saying something about grabbing women by the pee or something like that. So
yeah,
this
which
guy,
we've all done.
Right. This guy,
I agree.
Tony Busby, he was actually representing all the not all. He was representing a portion of the women that was coming forward against.
So where did these hoes come from? Were they from his college years? Had to be, because he was a Clemson Tiger.
Now this guy, Tony Busby, he put up billboards. Keep Johnny Manziel in Texas, because Johnny Manziel is one of the top quarterbacks in college who he actually wanted to actually take the position of the quarterback for the Houston Texans. So this guy, obviously, Tony Busby, this attorney, had an agenda. So the attorney that's representing the woman are paying for billboards in support of Johnny Manziel to actually become the new Houston quarterback.
Yeah, but that's comparing DeShaun Watson to Manziel is like comparing. I mean, I don't know what that comparison would be,
so
but
that's Kyle McNair. He issued an apology for using a anti-Asian slur. He was like the owner of the Texans, the Houston Texans, but ever since that he issued that apology, I guess he resigned. So now his mother, Janice McNair, actually is the owner of the Houston Texans right now. She might be the only female owner of the in the NFL right now.
Manziel's not NFL material.
Right.
Deshaun Watson is.
Yeah.
So Manziel's not. So why is Manziel even in the conversation? Like that dude is not. He's not college material.
Well, the purpose that I'm trying to
he's
make is
not
that
NFL material.
Tony Busby must have a special relationship with with Johnny, in order to like post billboards and stuff all around Texas to try to get them to try to like sign him. I guess he want him to be the quarterback or whatever the case may be. So it looks like there might have been a little bit of an agenda here to actually bring up charges on DeShaun Watson, in my humble opinion. I mean, what do you think?
Maybe
that sounds a little suspicious, right?
But what I'm saying is these 22 women are anonymous.
They're all named Jane Doe.
And are they from?
They're all anonymous.
Did they all go to Clemson?
Here's the thing. Let me get rid of his picture. All right. So basically, these women all are women that came forward against, and they all had the same story against Deshaun Watson, right? But the funny thing is about Deshaun Watson,
most of them, a couple of them,
he was actually, they all was massage therapists for him. They all basically they were massage therapists for this guy, right? So they all gave him special massages or whatever the case may be. And it have been established, yes, he have slept with some of them, but it's been established that they was willing to do it with them. He didn't take advantage. Apparently, he asked them to give he wanted a blowjob, right? He wanted the blowjob and he wanted to rub his penis on them, apparently. And a lot of them actually participated in it. And then now, suddenly, this guy, Tony Busby, he want Johnny Manziel to be the quarterback. Now he's posting. That's when all of this is popping up. Once this lawyer who was trying to run to be mayor, he wants Johnny Manziel to be the quarterback for the Texans. All of a sudden, now
Deshaun Watson's attorney. Deshaun Watson's attorney can bring that up.
I have a thing once y'all, whenever y'all ready.
Go ahead, brother.
Yeah.
Okay. In my opinion, all this, like I said, when they was on a boat with Chris Brown on a yacht with P. Diddy, and this girl went to Chris Brown's room, all that should be reasonable doubt that she got raped, because she put herself in a sexual situation with these sexual guys. Like, what do you expect? Like, what the hell? And first of all, if you're literally physically, you put yourself in a situation where you're massaging a man, of course you may get him aroused. That's natural. You literally put yourself in it. Like, this is your job to arouse the man at that point. Like, in my opinion, if I was a judge, I'd be like, oh, it's reasonable doubt, period. Like,
well, I mean, the massage.
You gotta prove you was raped beyond reasonable doubt. I got doubts.
Yeah, the massage parlor depends where you go. Like, there's some that specifically will do that, and it's low key. Like, they will pay for play, right? So then there's some that
they was coming to his house to do
super gray area, and you put yourself in that situation where you're rubbing on a man. That's where I say it's reasonable doubt that he raped you, opposed to being more on the level of consent, in my opinion.
Once again, women, these
you need proof beyond reasonable doubt.
Yeah, these 22 women should take accountability for their own actions. If you're giving me a massage and I say, hey, look, can I get the special ending? Can I get the happy ending? You know, you say no, okay, what more do we, but if you go with it, if you go along with it, then any credibility or any case you bring forward after that point should be void, because you went along with it. Like, they want to say that, you know, he coerced these women into doing this. Well, we all coerce, you know, women or men, you know, at all times. You know, I can go out on a date with a girl. Everything is coercion. You know, you go out, you take a girl out, you know, you go to reach for her hand and you know, she pulls away, but you reach for it again and she grabs it.
I
Did
don't
you
even
just
go on a
coerce
date
her?
unless it's already a clear cut language that we fucking. Like I'm
Yeah,
not even gonna
exactly.
go on. Like I let
But
it be known with the female when she's messing with me, she already knows what time it is because I'm so blunt with it that there can be no confusion.
I
There's no
went into a
exactly,
confusion.
I went into a
exactly.
massage parlor called the what was it, the Golden Star, right? I went into this massage parlor. I was like, what is this place? This place is weird. It just says the Golden Star. I gotta go in here to see what this is about. I went in there. It was a massage parlor, and it was some Asian ladies in there, right? And it was like, uh you wanna
You
are
want the
you the
lovely
candy
long
man? They said,
time?
or am I the candy man? I was like, am I the candy man? What does that mean?
Well,
And
all
then
the Asian
she
massage
tried to
parlors,
pull
that's
me.
already understood in them.
Yeah. She tried to pull me to the back, and then I was like, oh, okay. And she's like, you got the money? Where's the money? And I was like, I got $40. And the funniest shit, she pushed me out of the place. She was like, oh no. And then she pushed me out.
No, like in them places, it's understood already. Like there's, I mean, but what I'm saying is that
I
in
had
these
no clue.
places,
I had zero clue of what that place was.
like I know what them places are. Expect that love me long time. I know all them,
Yeah.
but because they've been around for a long time, they've been the
She
happy
didn't
endings
want
have
my
been.
$40.
Nah, they gonna charge. Well, they used to charge that much. They don't charge that no more. But
Yeah,
what I'm
it's a
saying is that,
recession. So
but also look, listen. This is why information is so vital. Because if you're a person that knows this, you already become a high value target. You already making. You already
Yeah.
you a Clemson superstar with national championships under your belt, getting drafted to the NFL, finna sign some contract. That's why.
Robin said, you know what matters? DNA. It's an upside down, inside out world.
Well, it is, but the fact of the matter is that you can have consensual sex where DNA is exchanged and still nothing bad happened. You know what
exactly.
I
Yeah,
mean?
and
So
Robin
Yeah.
also said, Donald Trump, and I quote, let you grab, not I just grab, let lot of gold diggers out there, right? So Donald Trump never said I just grabbed, they let him grab.
yeah,
It's
of
consent.
course, yeah.
Literally consent, and people still complaining. What the hell?
It doesn't make any sense, right?
They,
It's weird, but we got DeShaun. DeShaun Watson is almost unheard of for him to beat 22 counts of all of these false accusations of so-called women coming out against them and
I
saying whatever they got to
I
say
think they're
about him.
going to throw. I think they're going to throw the book at him in civil court, though. I honestly think that.
On Watson tomorrow. Watson.
Oops, sorry. Let me go back to that. Yeah, man, it's I hope he wound up beating it. We'll see what happens.
see, and then major cases like this perpetuated because you got a lot of people that are going to be sneaky about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So a lot of stuff like this perpetuates the next generation.
That violates state law. Also tonight, part 2 of our exclusive interview with Jasmine Brooks.
She is a Houston massage therapist who says Watson was a client for 2.5 years. And tonight, she talks about her own suspicions in this case and why she dropped Watson as a client. Why did your relationship with DeShaun end?
She looked like somebody's baby mama.
Had multiple conversations about just his team and who works on him. And DeShaun has a pretty big team of people that works on him. And just me not knowing everything that goes on with the other members that work on him, it got to a point where I was uncomfortable. And I felt like it was more of a liability situation. Just as far as if he was to get injured or anything like that, like I just didn't want that on my plate anymore. And so that's pretty much why I separated from DeShaun.
She also addressed this text exchange between her and a friend released
Nothing
by
sexual,
the accuser's attorney, Tony Busby. Jasmine saying in part, quote, I told you I stopped working with him, talking about DeShaun. Her friend asked why. She responds, because I was hearing too much stuff about him messing with other people, like other therapists and estheticians. He's been doing a lot the last 3 to 4 months. I told him, be careful. His name is getting around.
In the text message, it's being taken completely out of context. The message was not sent to another therapist. The message was sent to a friend, and the message was sent to somebody after that. But really what I meant was DeShaun he's working with a lot of people. He's working with a lot of therapists. I don't know these people. I don't know what they're doing with him. There has been an instance that I know of that me and DeShaun has spoke about with an esthetician. And, you know, DeShaun is in a relationship, but there was some sort of personal relationship with this person. And me speaking to DeShaun and telling him to be careful was because I feel like he doesn't know the intentions of some of these people that he works with. You know, his personal information has been put on Instagram, on the Instagram platform. And I just felt like it wasn't, you know, safe for him or his career, just to, you know, kind of go to anybody.
She has a lot more to say.
But notice she didn't say anything sexual about any encounters that they had. She said
No.
she stopped working with him because he was working with other estheticians and other massage therapists, and she didn't want to be responsible or held liable if he was to get injured or what have you. Notice nothing was sexual about that. Now, okay, he might have had a personal relationship with whoever he was dealing with at the time, another esthetician, and she told him, be careful. You know what I'm saying? She's actually giving him, you know, words of advice. So I don't even know why they got her up here talking about anything, because she's clearly not one of the 22 women that's accusing him of these allegations. So what the fuck does she got to say?
Sonia Scrapbook says people upset about Trump private conversations are okay with kindergarten sex aid.
Man,
Exactly.
man, Joe Biden had
Exactly.
kids touch his legs.
That's
Oh yeah,
fucking-
Joe Biden.
And they turned they turned gold, and they turned gold in the sun, and he knows a thing or two about cockroaches. Man, stop. That boy's out of control.
Right. So
In my opinion, any of these females that's probably accusing him would have did something depending on how much money is he willing to pay them.
That the one that came out on TV right now, she looked like she was kind of feeling him though. And then you have to understand and read between the lines. She said, I don't want to mess with him because he's messing with too many people. Like she probably was
He
feeling
wanted
him
a
and told him,
relationship.
yeah, she was like, be careful because some of these hoes are scandalous. She just can't say that on live television. So she was probably letting him know, like, be careful with these hoes. They be scandalous. And she was really feeling them. Like, you know, when you meet that one girl and you know she feels you, but you know she cool in the bitch, she looked like one of them. So they told him, hey, look out, look out, Poppy, check this out. Shit, that ain't gonna go down like that. You know, you got to be careful with these hoes. And then she might have liked them and said, you probably fuck around too much, so I can't fuck with you like that. You know, it could have been really.
I agree.
Exactly.
That's
But
what
like I said,
that's what I get. That's my take from that conversation.
Yeah,
just me understanding
I got the
womenese.
same thing. Yeah,
just
I
for
got
me
the-
understand.
I got the exact same thing.
All
why I said
three
it's
of us.
nothing sexual. She kept it. She kept all her responses and text messages platonic because she didn't want to allude to that. You know what I mean, how she was digging it. I peeped that from the moment she started talking. But like I said, these women need to be accountable.
Instincts. That's male
Yeah, they need to be
instincts.
accountable. Yeah, they need to be accountable for their own actions. If you're giving me a massage and I just happen to whip my Johnson out and be like, yo, can I get the happy ending? And you say, okay, and go to work. What are you complaining about?
Yeah,
Like,
but then look too. This is something men need to understand that they don't. If a girl is feeling you, you can say whatever the fuck you want to her.
Exactly.
But if she's not feeling you, you can't. Because a woman might dig you, and you can tell her fucking anything. Like I look at little mama, blase. Then this fool that she ain't feeling at all tells her some weird shit because he may be awkward and may not got no finesse game. And she gonna be like, oh, this is a motherfucking creepo. Get the fuck away from me, you creep. You know, so the response will be totally fucking different. So a lot of it has to do with men not being educated on how to read women. You gotta, if a woman ain't feeling you, bro, you gotta be real careful what the fuck you tell her. Straight up. But if she feels you, you can tell her damn near anything. Damn near. You know, when we gonna fuck? What's up, ma? Let me hit you up. If she feeling you, she like shit, whenever, what's up? Come over. But if she ain't feeling you, that's fucking sexual harassment.
That's going right to the
Straight
police.
Yeah. So
If she ain't fucking feeling you, that's sexual harassment.
All right. So at the end of the day, all right, we talked about the problem. Guys, women, they're not going to come up with the solution. We all know women ain't going to come up with the solution. What should us as men do? Because, all right, here's the thing. Realistically, men, we want to get laid. We can't front. We all want to get laid, right? Nobody's denying that. We want to get laid, right? So when you want to mess around with a female, what is the safest way that you can go about it to protect yourself? Because any woman you invite to your house or take her out to like a hotel or motel, any woman can just easily say that she didn't want to go and you violated her, whatever the case may be. Like, Jesus, starting with you, what can men do to basically, protect themselves?
Non-disclosure agreements should be signed or some sort of.
I'm talking about, all right, I get it for celebrities, but for like, I'm talking about like the regular man, a regular man that may only make $30,000 a year. What is he going to do to protect himself?
Once again, like you said, keep those receipts. Keep those. Once again, it's a shame we have to play this game of semantics in today's day and age. So once again, I got text messages in my phone from 2013, 2007. Keep everything. Keep a record of everything. If you're going to go out, you know what I'm saying, with a girl, it's a shame. Call your homie. Hey, look, me and Shorty going to go out tonight. Call a friend. Look, me and Shorty going out tonight, X, Y, and Z. This is what happened. This is where we at. You know what I mean? And then, once again, get the agreements in a text message or something. Yo, you ready to go out? Yeah, I'm ready. Where we going? X, Y, and Z. Yo, we going, you know what I mean, after dinner in the movie, you know what I mean? Can I hit it? We fucking, like, what's up? What's going on? Get all that shit. I get all this shit right in nowadays. Because women they'll hang you out to dry. They'll take you to the cleaners and hang you out to dry. So, once again, like I said, it's a shame that we have to keep playing this game of semantics. We got to keep playing this game of cat and mouse with women. But it's being clear that men are being, like, when men are targeted, it's a whole big deal.
Yeah, exactly. So what about you, Dion? What can men do? What can men do to basically protect themselves? Like a regular man that's making $30,000, $40,000 a year that don't have all the resources that these celebrities have. You might not have all.
Yeah, I mean, you can always go to Staples and print out a contract.
No, that ain't gonna work. I'm talking about no. I know.
But hear me out.
No. That's bullshit.
All right.
That's bullshit.
What do you have to say?
That's not gonna work. No regular man don't have the clout that Chris Brown or DeShaun Watson have. You pull out a contract on a regular girl, she's gonna say what the and leave. That's not gonna. I'm talking about regular people.
I understand that.
No.
Because it's kind of a joke.
Realistically, what can a man do to protect himself?
Like Jesus said, you can get that verbal contract or text message or something like that. Other than that, you could get the signature joint, but like you said, it's kind of like it's kind of funny. You know what I mean? Like, you pull out a contract, like the David Chappelle episode when he pulled out the contract.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is what it is. You got to do something.
Yeah, we're
dealing with all these modern women.
We're a body cam.
Y'all are complicating it too much.
So yeah. What do we do? What do we do? Is
listen.
Like,
I'm talking
about regular men that making 30,000, 40,000.
Yes. Because I'm a small business owner, so I don't make hundreds of millions and all that. But I think that where men get in trouble is when they lie. And a lot of average men create this illusion to a woman that they feeling them, and they really ain't feeling them. And then most men don't have the capacity to be upfront and honest about their intentions. So that's why I say it's real complicated for the average dude fucking with the average female. Because these hoes ain't fucking dime pieces. Because if they were, they'd be community property, and we wouldn't even run into them in the motherfucking street. Half these fucking females are bitches we run into at the workplace or running around at the park and some bullshit. And then they feel us, and we feel them, and then we either honest with them, like say, look out, shorty, this is where I'm at as a single dad. This is what's on and popping. And you're able to take the L where she's like, nah, I'm not looking for a hookup. I'm going to move on. You dodged the bullet. She doesn't want to be deceived. You ain't trying to deceive. She goes on about her motherfucking business. And then if you fuck around and play with a fucking woman's mind, if she's a fucking narcissist, she going to fuck over your world, even if you ain't got shit, just based on the fact that you play games with her. Now, the only women that are actually doing this to celebrities, they're doing it because they're going to get some major out of it. They ain't going to do that to the average dude that ain't got shit, just like they broke just like them. They trying to fuck like you trying to fuck. But half the time, when
But
you
the
try
thing
to...
is, regular men, we got to worry about it too, man.
You have to worry about it, bro, if you playing games with these hoes. Like, tell them the truth and take the L. If that ain't what she looking for, let her go. Let her go. If a bitch ain't down to fuck in the first date, tell her gone about her business. Tell her straight up.
Yeah. So anyway,
let her go.
All right. So when it comes to Chris Brown, DeShaun Watson, Jesus Black Man, what advice would you give them two men moving forward?
Chris Brown, keep doing what you're doing. It's good that you got, because if you didn't have those text messages, brother, your ass would be you would have been nailed to the cross. To Mr. Watson or DeShaun, he is. I think honestly, I think what he needs to do is sit down with his lawyers, because I have a bad feeling that they're gonna hit him in the head in civil court. So I think what he needs to do, sit down with his lawyers, see if there's some sort of monetary thing that he can give or do to get these bitches out of his face for life. Because I think he's on the criminal side, yeah, he's good, but on the civil side,
that's why a lot of them settle out of court.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm thinking he's going to have to settle out of court. Yeah, I'm thinking they're going to have to settle out of court, because I have a bad feeling. I have a bad feeling he's going to lose it in the civil suits.
Me a little bit.
Because once again, women nowadays don't want to take accountability for their own actions. They don't want to say, well, I kind of, gave him a hand job, they're not going to admit to that. They're going to, he coerced me into doing this, and I felt bad, and I didn't want to say no, because he's a star quarterback for the NFL, so I got guilt tripped or some other bullshit that some lie they'll make up to finesse the courts. So I think that's really what he should do.
Right. So what about you, Dion? What do you think? What advice would you give Chris
I think
Brown
it's a shame if he do get proven guilty in the civil courts, because I think it should be beyond reasonable doubt. And I think it should be that way with no matter what courts or what judges you're dealing with. It should be beyond being proven beyond reasonable doubt. And I think a massage parlor is a real gray area. I think if a female is doing that to you already, and then you just ask for an extra massage, and hand quotes, like he probably wasn't even that direct about what he was saying. He probably was like, like happy ending or something like that. Like, it can't prove it beyond reasonable doubt what he meant. They could say that he meant this, but it's like, it's not beyond reasonable doubt. And then they're filling on him already. So it's like, they're doing their job massaging him. So yeah,
exactly. What about you, Poet? If you could give Chris Brown or DeShaun Watson any advice, what would you say to them?
They have to have stronger moral character. I think they should do what some politicians have done, that they don't go out nowhere without a female witness. And it's more better in a situation like them for them to have moral character and not to be driven by their sexual urges, because they got way more to lose than you and I do.
Yeah.
You know, I lose. Watch out, baby girl. I lose, and I got my baby girl. I got to pay child support. They lose, they gonna lose everything. You know what I'm saying? They lose everything.
I understand that, but they traveling, like they going from state to state. I mean, they gotta do something. You know what I mean?
All right, for you.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But a man who can control his sexual urges is powerful.
So for the last poet, right? Sonia got a question. What will you teach your daughter about dating? I presume you don't want her to have sex on the first date, and if not, is it?
Well, my daughter's
booty call.
Because my daughter's gonna be a wife. My daughter's not gonna ruin her life. So my daughter's gonna be a wife. If a woman transfers, if I'm at the top peak of my performance and a woman is still living at her parents at 20 years old and she don't got no body count, I will pay her way. And no, I will not treat her like I'm going to treat somebody that I'm not going to run around and pay somebody's way that already got a bunch of kids and all that. I let them know, but I don't play with their feelings. I tell them straight up. It's the same thing. My daughter knows, because there's a stupid ass single mom upstairs with 5 kids and like 4 different baby daddies, and nobody in the neighborhood likes her kids because they're ill-disciplined. And I let her know, you want to end up like that?
That's your girlfriend, right?
Who? The one upstairs? No, yeah. I don't fuck with that hoe. So if I tell her, if you want to end up like that, then do what you do. But if you want to get married, this is what you got to do. Because my daughter's not going to be fucking around out there in the marketplace like that.
Okay.
She's not.
All right. To wrap it up real quick, guys. All right. What is your view on being a stepfather, Jesus Black Man? Is signing up to be a stepfather even worth it in today's market or not?
Yes.
For you, Jesus, what's going on?
That was directed towards me.
Yeah.
Like we said before, it's too many variables to that situation for it to be a clear cut answer. You know, not everybody's the same. Not every situation is going to be the same. So, it's really the lesser of two evils, or what have you. You know, on one hand, it can be a great thing to be a stepfather to a child that actually needs that type of strong male guidance. You know, I don't see it as being a wasted investment when you're in a situation where the woman appreciates your presence in her child's life, allows you to be a father to that child.
Yeah.
And you get to reap the benefits of that. And then you have, on the other hand, where it's not worth it at all, where you have a woman who's just looking for somebody to do for her children what her baby dads are too lazy to do for them. You know, basically a rent-a-pop, and then once she's like a locust, she's like a parasite. Once she's used you up, she's on to the next.
Do women have love? The woman have love to give to a man?
What?
No.
In a step parent situation, or in that situation?
Overall. Or even honestly, hold on. Let me ask you another question. Does a woman respect the man that come in that's willing to raise another man's child?
Once again, you have. On the other hand,
I can see that. The poet.
I see him. But I'm speaking from personal experience. You know, you have women who respect a man, respect him more. Like I have my 5-year-old son who will be 6 in July. He has a little sister. His mother had a daughter by another guy. It's not my business. I don't care.
Yeah.
We weren't together. But the little girl, every time she sees me, she calls me daddy. She says, "Hi, daddy." She calls me daddy. I take care of her. When I buy things for my son, I buy things for her.
Right.
I don't treat her any differently than what I would my son. I call when she says hi, daddy, I say, hey, princess, hi, daughter, hi, whatever. I treat her exactly. I kiss my son, I kiss her. And my son's mother
and these
actually
aren't your
respects
kids.
me for
These
that.
aren't your biological children, right?
The daughter, my daughter isn't biologically mine. My son is. But
Where's the biological father
know,
at?
Of the little
Of
girl?
the daughter, yeah.
Is he alienated?
I don't know. I don't ask those questions. Once again, that's none of my business. That's between her and her baby dad. I ain't got nothing to do with that.
Right.
But I'm still gonna, treat that child with the same respect and love that I would my own son. And once again, it causes my son's mother to respect me more. There are times and instances where
you ain't my daddy.
That can happen. That can happen. But that can happen, and I'll give you a prime example. Once again, like I said, I'll always speak from personal experience. Savage, your cousin is my oldest son's mother, and she had 2 children before I got with her from another guy. And her son and her daughter tried that "you ain't my daddy" stuff on me, and she quickly checked them. And we're talking about 2000. Amir was born 2004.
Yeah.
Talking about like 2003. And when I was given direction or discipline, they tried to buck up on me and say, well, you ain't my daddy, you ain't Peanut and all this. And my son's mother checked him, like, as long as he's in this house and he's paying bills and he's taking care of y'all, that's it, you're going to do what he says.
Yeah,
like I said, you
are a cousin.
We already been through this before. Now the thing is, I would be like the same way. Like, okay, I would say, you know what? You ain't my daddy. I don't want to grow up to be like you and raise another man's children.
Man.
So anyway, Dion,
yeah,
what do you think about
like I said, you have instances where you do have instances and cases where it's not worth to be a step parent. Not at all, because all you're going to do is just waste your resources investing into another man's child.
Did you
but
answer?
There are some women out there.
Did you already answer me when I asked you, do women have any love to give?
No.
Jesus.
Well, Magnetron answered that. I don't know how you're wording it. I don't know in the definition that you're like. How are you trying to apply that? Like, do women have love to give in what situation? Like, how are you applying this?
Do women?
I don't understand.
Well, do women do you think women actually respect men that actually step in to take care of her children? Like, you think women really respect guys like that?
It can.
I know they'll take
it,
but do they respect you for doing that?
No. Yes. Once again, you have some women. On one hand, you have women who appreciate a man like that. Appreciates a man that wants to come in, because there are a lot of men who don't want that responsibility. You know what I'm saying? There are a lot of women out there who would appreciate a man coming into her child's life.
And that's the thing. Shout out to my girl Sonia Scrapbook, who she's actually listening right now. She said she's not dating nobody until her kids are grown, because she don't want nobody to be no stepdaddy. Exactly.
Here's what I would say. Here's what I'm gonna say.
Good job, Sonia.
We're gonna get to you in a second, Dion.
Okay. That can actually end up being a double-edged sword, because there's a reason that the single mother household in the Black community is failing. Being a single mother, you didn't win. You are a failure. That is a failure.
You're a failure if you have a baby that's not, and you're not with the person that actually contributes to having that child. Unless you're like a widow and your husband died or something like that, then that's different.
Unless you're a widow, But being a single mother in today's society, especially a Black single mother, you failed. That is a failure.
All cultures, not just all of them.
And I know I'm
a culture. Let's put it like that. But I'm only going to say the Black household, because it's more prevalent. Single mothers are more prevalent in the African American community.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I can understand wanting to protect your children and all that, but your children need a positive male role model in the house,
And
not on TV, not in the street. They need them in the house.
yeah,
Well,
LeBron
it
James.
ain't gonna be me.
Okay, so all right, I get that. I get that. So hey, yeah. So let me ask you: is it even worth it? Like, do women even respect men that actually sign up to raise another man's children? Do they actually respect that? And do women have any love to give?
I would say off the top, no, women don't respect it, but women can fall in love with a man and respect that man, and then she'll respect the man loving the children and respect the children loving the man. And so love is very complex, but one can fall in love even though it's not ideal, and I don't recommend you seek taking care of another woman's kids, another man's kids. I don't recommend a man should go out and seek that. But if you fall in love, love can be complex, and you could fall in love and everything could actually work out, even though it's more of a risk.
Right. Poet, respond to all of this. I'm asking you again. So do women respect guys that step in to be stepdaddies? And do women have any love to give?
No and no. Let me break it down. And y'all gonna make me get savage. Y'all gonna make me get savage up in this bitch. Listen. Listen. Women are going to love you based on circumstance. Because I can almost promise you, if you fall off a ladder and break your damn back and you're a liability and you're no longer a contributor to that household, you're gonna watch all that baby I love you shit right up out the window. That's why they file 90% of divorces, and ain't no love to do this part. It's gonna be and I'm not talking about the unicorns that do stick with their husband when they're disabled, that they feed their husband when they're quadriplegics. We're not talking about the unicorn. We're talking about the standard woman and the divorce rates. Most of it is because of finances. You're just one job loss away, one injury away, one mental breakdown away from.
We're talking about the probability, not the possibility.
No, right? That's gonna happen, because if not, there wouldn't be a statistic out there. There wouldn't be a statistic. It's not no probable. It's just if nothing happens to you throughout your life, you don't suffer from a job loss, a mental breakdown, or you don't get injured, then you could live in the matrix all you want to, and everything's going to be fine. But if you have a catastrophe happen to you, it is going to force you to take the red pill, and then you're going to be unplugged from the matrix for the rest of your life. Talking to a dude that fell and broke his pelvis. I'm not talking out of just woo woo whoop all this. All that, no, I know firsthand what can happen in a catastrophic situation, and most women they're not like our grandmothers, and they're not cut out like that. Now, when it comes to children, raising other men's children, the only time I was willing to do it was when I got her mama pregnant, my little mama. I do shared custody. We get her 50-50. And that's only because I wanted to raise my daughter in a two-parent household. The mama wasn't ready for that, so I didn't give her no more chances. She could do her. Now she's like, hey, whoop, whoop. I'm going to be like, nah, you did you. So as far as going into a relationship with a woman that has kids, it has nothing to do with the babies. A lot of people, they take the misconception it has something to do with the babies. Got nothing to do with the babies. I could fall in love with this baby. I can raise this baby and give it my heart, my soul, my resources. And at the end of the day, if me and you have a fallout, I have no legal recourse to keep me in that child's life. They may grow up and call me, hey, man, thank you for being there, woo, woo, woo. And that's a chance I'm willing to take, because let's face it, some of your own kids don't even appreciate what you do for them, let alone someone else's kids. Hey. It takes so you have to understand that it's okay. If you want to participate in raising the community's children, that's fine. That's not going to be me, though. I'm not going to put myself in that situation. And the old girl that said, hey, I'm away from my kids to get out of the house. Hey, you a candidate for somebody that I'm going to date when I'm a little older. Because I don't, unless you're going to be one of them grandmas that going to have all the damn grandchildren everywhere, That's not going to work either, because at some point we need rest. And at the end of the day, you do your job, you raise your children, you push them to fuck up out the house so they can be independent, they can fly. Then they got to take care of their responsibilities. That's what you do as a human being. Now, if you didn't work things out with your baby daddy, and then you're running around here thinking that grass is going to be, or you did bad mate selection. That's why it's very crucial that I teach my daughter proper mate selection to stay in the relationship. Because running around here as a single mama, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And at the end of the day, you come in here, you have no authority, you can't whoop their ass. When it's time to discipline, it's my baby. But when it's time to pay the bills, it's our baby.
Is it like, is raising another man's kid like finishing another man's beer?
Yeah. Well, it's worse than that.
It's worse.
Raising another man's kid
we lost some people that's tuned in now. They all women.
if raising another man's kid is like plowing another man's land and not ever reaping the harvest.
Yeah, that's a damn good analogy.
It's basically like
you're gonna plow another man's land and someone else is gonna reap the harvest. Because let me tell you something, especially with daughters, I don't give a fuck how many motherfucking people come into her mama life. Who's her dad? Me.
Yeah.
So when she gets older, who's she gonna go to? Me. They gonna go to nobody. I don't give a fuck who her mama fucking this week and fucking last week, and that don't matter. I stepped up. No, that's not what's gonna happen in real life. Now I let my nuts hang so I don't get alienated, because I'm not gonna get handled like that. I'm not gonna get alienated. As soon as I came out of prison, I took that. I'm gonna see my child. Shit's gonna get real crazy.
So we got
that question.
Sonia Scrapbook said, what about the feminists that pay the bills? Why do they get divorced? LOL.
Because they hate the dude that they chose. Because secretly they want a dude that's going to run the house. Because they hated the simp that they chose. They grew to hate him.
I need to do like a red pill channel. That's separate from the last poet.
They either chose a simp or they either chose a simp, or they got with a alpha male and they didn't want to submit to that man. They think that, once again, they think that a marriage is a partnership. It's not. It's not a partnership. It's not you can't be independent and be in a marriage or be in a relationship. You can't be independent and want to be a partner. You can't.
And a lot of these girls didn't have no daddy. My daughter listens to me. If my daughter don't have a daddy, if she don't listen to me, how's she gonna listen to her husband? She's doomed to fail in a marriage. If you ain't got no daddy and your daddy ain't never told you to pick up after yourself, if your daddy ain't never put you in your place and taught you right from wrong, how you gonna listen to a man? You ain't got no daddy in your life. So if you ain't got no daddy in your life, how you gonna listen to your husband? You running around here as a damaged woman, like Kevin Samuel said, and you ain't getting no therapy to fix that. And then you expecting to come out here and be successful in relationships, and you don't even want to listen.
And that's the thing. I appreciate that. The last poet. Here's the thing: men, we earn our value later in life. When women, they get their validation early in life. So women, they're basically at their prime years in their late teens and 20s, maybe early 30s if they're lucky. Men, we don't really start getting our real sexual market value until we're like 35, 40, and 50s. Like, that's when we make the most money. That's when we're most attractive to women. But women, they automatically get invited into the VIP section. Once a woman is like 35 plus 40 years old and she got like 3-4 kids, she's not worth anything to a high value man. I don't understand why any man would wife these women up that got like 3-4 kids and they're already 35, 40 years old. What is the purpose of that? You're losing as a man for wifing a woman up like that. She basically she sold herself out. She's been ran through all through her teen years, all through her 20s, and she using you, the beta male provider, because you're the only idiot that's willing to wife up a 35, 40-year-old woman that got 4 kids
Captain
already.
Planet, he's our hero. Yeah, so
what is the purpose? Why would any man do that? You gotta be a complete dumbass to wife up a woman that's 35, 40 years old that already have 3-4 kids, and she already been ran through by the whole football team.
I told my daughter she's got from 18 to 28 to figure it out. 18 to 28, and I'm going to help her find her husband. As a matter of fact, the rate we're going, conservatives, we're beginning to arrange the marriages for our kids because we don't even want them marrying liberals. So she's going to have a small circle to choose from of men that are raised in a two-parent household. They got a daddy that can respect and love God. And I said, baby, this is the qualifications the dude to come and ask me for you. And her dad, me, I'm actively participating in her mate selection because that's the problem with modern society. You ain't got no daddies, but that's not my fault. I'm not.
And that's the thing, Jesus. What do you think about what I said about basically like men get their value later in life? Women automatically have validation when they're in their late teen years, in their 20s, and maybe if they're lucky in their 30s.
Well, once a woman's body starts developing, which is, you know, teens and what have you, you know, every man is trying to fuck them. Everybody's trying to fuck them. You know, once again, men, we didn't have that. We don't have that luxury, I should say.
We don't get invited to the VIP section. We got to earn our way to the VIP section.
You don't go into the candy store like Fresh and Fit said.
Yeah, or we gotta, you know, pay our way into the VIP. You know, so
shout out to Fresh and Fit.
Shout out to Fresh and Fit. To piggyback off what you said, it's like when you meet a woman that's, you know, single and now she feels her clock ticking and she wants to get married, but she has like 3 baby dads and all this other jazz. It's like I said before, it's like paying brand new pricing for a used car. Like who the fuck, like what man would do that? I don't know, no man in his right mind that would go out there and pay $30,000, $40,000 for a beat up ass Toyota. And it's the society that we live in. Women have been lied to constantly about who they are, their self-worth. These women attach too high of a price tag to them. If you ask any woman today, any woman on the street, what would you rate yourself? They'll all say they dimes. They're all 10s. Everybody is a dime. Everybody.
And they look like a busted Pillsbury biscuit can, like Coach Gorgatti.
Yeah, they look like an old turtle. Like, come on. Like, you can't be a dime. Like, if you were a dime, you'd be on somebody's magazine, up in some man's mansion, sitting and chilling. Not everybody's a dime. Not everyone, you know, you ask every woman, you know, every woman got the best pussy on the planet. Well, when you heifers is lying?
So here's the thing. So men, we can have a lot of children, right? I feel like as men, our value really don't decrease. No matter if we got 5 or 8 kids already. Men, our value basically stay value.
And I would never damage
based off of how many children they have.
I don't have to damage my child. I don't have to damage my daughter and bring some fucking bitch into our life that's going to disrespect my daughter or make her feel any less and damage my daughter because I'm a king. I'm in my role. I never stepped out of my role. I can be a single father, cook, clean, take care of my baby girl, go out there and smash when I need to, and when I don't need to, I ain't got to. And then whenever I grow up and when my daughter grows up and I marry her off, if I find me a lady, I can still find me a lady at 52, 53 when my business is already making 6 figures. I don't need the wall does not apply to me.
Right. I'm gonna get to Dion in a second.
Yeah.
Okay. So your scrapbook said, I think divorced people can remarry each other in their 40s. Laugh out loud. They know what they are getting by then. It's different once kids are raised. Right. So all right. So Dion,
I would say in this modern world, you don't know who the hell you getting or what you getting, even by your 40s, because once again, women in their 40s, typically women in their 40s, if they are divorced or single in their 40s, they are 9 times 10 women like that. You see they're either one of those strong, independent, high-powered women, once again, looking for a partner, looking to be, you know, competition with their man, or they're used up. They're used up Capri Sun packs, and now all of a sudden,
who said Jesus? That's you with the girlfriend in the background laughing.
Oh, that's my roommate.
Oh yeah. Hey, so anyway, go ahead.
They're like they're used up, and now that they're used up, and they're seeing that their body is degrading and everything, now they want to rush and find a man. Like, no.
Yeah, I agree. Like, that's the thing. Like, and then you got to feel some type of way as the man. You're like the cleanup man. Like, this woman that gave her body to the to the Pookies and the Ray Rays or the Chads or Tyrones or whatever.
Dion,
Exactly.
what do you
exactly?
Dion,
And they
what,
wanna-
let-
I'm gonna get
Dion,
the-
what do you think
and
of
then
Dion, what do you think about what she said? What do you think about what she
Hold on,
said,
hold on,
Dion?
hold on. Exactly. And guess what? It's always those type of women who want to claim that they're the ones who are settling for men that are less. No, in reality, the man is settling. We have to settle for your used body, your used mentality. We have to come in and repair your broken emotional spirit and all this other bullshit. No, it's the man who actually settles, not the woman.
I want to get the Robin comment real quick. Just know it's human nature. Even in marriage, you fall and out of love with each other. And hopefully you fall back in love at the same time. You must take your vow seriously, but always respect. Okay.
Not true. Not true. You cannot. Let me tell you something. If you're married to a man or if you're married to a woman and you fall out of love with that person, something's wrong there. You don't fall out of love. You may not like them at the moment. You might not can't stand them, but you never fall out of love with a person. If you fell out of love with someone, that was the wrong person.
People.
I don't even believe in none of that bullshit.
That's why people renew their vows. That's why people renew their vows.
It's bullshit rhetoric that's being passed on to.
It's politically correct.
Yeah, it's politically.
It's politically correct. All we're doing, brother.
It's like that old saying. It's like that. Hold on. It's like that old saying that women like to say. You know, if you love something, let it go, and if it comes back, it was meant to be. No, if you love it, you want to let it get. You want to let it go in the first place. You just sit there. And
Hold on.
Let's go with what Brother Dion is saying.
Yeah, let's get to Dion. You never answered.
We need to answer the first one. Answer the first question, Dion. The one where it says that women in their 40s, if we remarry at our 40s, is that the same? Is that the same as like in other words, read that comment again.
Inevitably, if you're a person who you after you get a certain age, you gain wisdom. So it's different because of the wisdom that you gain. Now,
let me ask you a question.
You might break up. You might break up, but you're not going to be as hurt.
That's not the question. Hold on, real quick. Let me explain.
All right.
Women get validated early. They automatically get validation to get invited to the VIP section. Men, we have to earn our way into the VIP section. Men don't lose their value based off of how many kids they have. Women, however, lose their value based off of how many kids they have. Right?
I agree. Let's go, Brandon. I agree.
Let's go, Brandon.
So is men being basically idiotic when they sign on for a woman that's 35, 40 plus years old that may have 3 or 4 kids already? It's like, what do you have to gain as a man? Why raise another man's legacy? Is it even worth it? She lost her value at that point.
She did. Can I make an insinuation to answer Sonia's question about people in their 40s remarrying after their kids are out of the house?
Yeah, do you agree with that?
I agree with it.
If their kids are out of the house, it does make it different because the kids aren't with the mother, and y'all basically 2 single people that are hooking up.
I agree with it to the extent of how you raise your children. If you're going to be the motherfucking babysitter, then I'm stuck raising grandkids that ain't mine. Just the same thing.
You raising her kids while she's out screwing another man.
Yeah. So I'm going to be raising your grandbabies. I would agree with Sonia if you raised your child to take care of her own children. But if me and you are already living our best life and you still look good at 40, and me and you got plans to go to Acapulco and Puerto Vallarta, and we gonna be getting our fucking on and living our life. And after we done did our job I raised my daughter, you done raise your kids, and then your motherfucking kids. Like my daughter, yes, I'm gonna spend time with the grandkids, but it's gonna be in the holidays. She better take care of of my grandbabies. She ain't just gonna come dump them and go party. That's not how I'm gonna raise my daughter to be. So if you're gonna be the babysitter for your kids, then no. Then it's the same thing as marrying a single mom. Yeah, you pushed your kids out of the house, but now her grandkids come into play, and then we're sitting there, me and you, instead of going to Acapulco, we're raising a bunch of motherfucking grandbabies. The fuck?
Right.
We're
So
thinking,
anyway, so how many of y'all, and we'll go on the list, just say yes or no. Jesus, black man, do you consider yourself red pill? Yes or no?
Yes.
All right, Dion, do you consider yourself red pill? Yes or no?
I'm more purple pill.
I agree. So, what about you, the last poet? What about are you red pill? Yes or no?
man, my fucking pill is so red it's crimson. That bitch is a fucking supernova going down my belly.
Yeah, it is what it is. All right, here's the thing. All right, so purple pill, right? Jesus, I don't know if you know, like purple pill is basically you're a man that knows female nature. You know, you are aware of female nature. However, you still choose to be in a relationship with a female, right? So,
I mean, but wouldn't you be gay if you didn't? I mean,
no. I mean, you could be red pill and basically you know female nature, but you're not willing to be in a relationship. All you're gonna do is you're gonna have relations with women, but you're not gonna commit to women. That's what being red pill basically mean.
yeah, because it's so hard. And everyone today, this world is filled with so many people who suffer from, just easily offended subjective feelings. And everyone's feelings nowadays is just so subjective. It's so easy to fall in and out of love with someone, or like I said, you don't fall out of love with anybody. You don't. If you love something, you never let it go.
Right.
But the way it is now is it's almost the norm to date somebody 6 months, a year, and then move on like a pack of fucking locusts, just moving on to the next. You use up a person and just go on to the next. And it's so hard to be in a relationship with women today because they're so quote unquote modernized. They want to be modern women, yet they want men to still be traditional. They still.
Well, I capitalize on that, Jesus B, because it's an even swap. I give cock, you give twat. So yeah, I capitalize on the feminist movement. You want to be equal, okay? I guess we're equal and stuff.
I have no issues with that. I have no issues taking a woman out to a nice dining experience and telling that waiter to split the bill. She had that, I had this. Let's go. We're equals. That's how it's going to be. I don't hold no doors open for women because guess what? If you're an equal, I can hold the door open for myself. You should be able to do the same for you. Like,
and I do believe in marriage, but just like they have standards, I have standards too. You want me to make 6 figures? I want you to have a no or low body count. You want me to have a 6-pack? You better be young. You want my dick to be longer than 6 inches? Your pussy better not fucking be a whale where we can dip a bucket and grab water from.
Exactly.
You want me to to stay in shape? You need to stay in shape. It's a 1 and 1. Like if you have standards, so do I.
I'm all for holding women to the exact same standards that they hold to us.
Yep, I believe in it. Yep, and I believe in marriage, but you better bring it. You better bring it. You want some from me? I want some from you. Yep.
You got to. But once again, these modern women today, they don't want that. They don't want to hear that. Okay, we're husband and wife, and as my wife, you have certain duties. So if I say I want some pussy tonight, that's exactly what I mean. I don't care if your stomach hurting. I don't care if you got a headache. I don't care if you're on your. Listen,
well, that's not the issue. The issue is that you have to. We understand when people are ill and stuff like that. The issue you can't use sex as a weapon.
I mean, yeah,
you can't use sex as a weapon,
right? And men gotta be super careful on another note as well, because nowadays it's like online dating is kind of like the way to go, because in person everything is considered sexual harassment. Like just going up to a woman and saying she's pretty, she's beautiful. Apparently nowadays women consider that to be sexual harassment in a lot of cases. So men aren't really cold approaching today's time. They're actually.
That's really only.
I still cold approach.
Yeah, That's really
It's
only if
risky.
you're ugly. If you're not an ugly guy, it's not sexual harassment.
So
Because most women would not call sexual harassment on a guy that's making six figures and really looks good.
yeah.
How you doing today?
Wow.
That's not good.
Wow.
What's up, beautiful? Have a good day.
Actually, it's crazy.
I've seen that
Harassment.
social experiment.
The feminists and the Democrats are confusing. They're making up new words. Harassment really means like if you're, keep on badgering somebody like
They don't
days
like
and
you.
days and days, and like you're constantly doing. For real, you can't harass someone verbally by just saying like, "How you doing, beautiful?" one time. Like that's ridiculous. Harassment is when you can't keep on doing that over and over again, days on end.
Like you just follow the bitch down the street. Like, what's up, baby? Damn, can I get some play?
But the feminist movement and these Democrats are
And then,
changing they're changing our language.
Yeah, this was considered sexual harassment on women right here. This video right here. It was guys actually going up to her saying, "How you doing?" Whatever the case was.
Oh, okay.
They consider this sexual harassment today.
Come on, what? It's because I'm ugly? Huh? It's because I'm ugly?
It's like, damn, can a man court a woman anymore? Like, this is just courting.
It is. You'll find someone though. You will.
Now she's just being ignorant.
Do you have mommy issues? Because I have daddy issues.
But you know what? In the end, we win because that fucking ridiculous ass bitch is gonna end up in a dog food section anyway.
Yeah, like I think she just made this video as an attack on men. That's all. That's all this is.
Why are y'all even dating liberal Democrat women anyway?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I don't even think that video seemed like it was paid actors.
As a matter of fact, if you a female that voted for Biden, you should get no dick and you should be paying for your neighbor's gas.
It
That's
says
what you should be
10 incidents of verbal street harassment took place that took 10 hours to respond to appropriately and creatively. If you want to help, please donate. So they're basically saying that this woman was harassed and you should donate money to this women's organization that's against men or whatever the case is.
That's gonna teach other young girls to hate men and end up in the dog food section looking retarded.
But that's considered sexual harassment.
But look, listen, man. If any woman voted for Joe Biden, she needs to help her neighbor pay for gas, and she should be barred from getting dick completely.
So Robin says you men are so jaded, and I'm red pilled.
But how are we jaded?
Yeah.
No woman has hurt me, but I've watched women hurt people, and I'm calling them out and holding them accountable. How is that being jaded?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, how is it being jaded?
I feel like we all had like different responses, so I don't know who exactly Robin is.
No, and then Deion's purple pill. He's holding on to the hope strategy still. So it's not like we're all here. It's not like there's a monolith. If anything, I'm the most red pill of the group.
Yeah,
and
I mean, I'm red pill too because I know what it's like. I'm not signing up for that anymore. I did that recently, and I did that in the past. Signing up to be stepdaddy is not worth it. I feel like the risk that comes along with being a stepdaddy is actually the risk is not worth the reward, and being a stepfather is actually a thankless job, in my opinion. So I'm just like, I'm down for relations. When it comes to dealing with women, I'm probably more liberal than conservative when it comes to women, but everything else I'm pretty conservative with. But when it comes to dealing with women, I don't think that the risk is actually worth the reward to sign up to be like a stepfather, in my opinion.
Yeah. I call out the feminist and the conservative movement too.
Yeah, exactly. That's just my view. Any last thoughts? We'll run through it. Because I know we've been over 2 hours at this point. So, Jesus, you want to give any closing statements to what we talked about today? Chris Brown. We talked about DeShaun Watson and all of this stuff. Stepdaddy season, all of that good stuff.
I guess if I had to say anything, it's just that as men, we got to start being more careful. These women are not all women, but there are a lot of women who are looking to trap niggas all day long. There are women who are looking because you don't want to give them the time of day. Once again, the double standard. You know, a man, if a woman doesn't want to give a man the time of day, he's supposed to accept that. But if a man does the exact same thing to a woman, she has a whole issue with it. So we have to really just be careful of who we're dealing with. Make sure we have, all our bases covered. If we go out with women or if we have any type of sexual contact with women, it's just basically, as men, we need to start taking more care of ourselves and protecting ourselves, and also start holding these women accountable to the same shit that they hold us accountable to. Have the same standards. Have standards. Yep. Fuck it.
All right. So what about you, Dion, real quick, then we're going to get to the last poet before we wrap it up. What do you think about any closing statements about everything?
Well, I would like to make an honorable mention for Drake for putting hot sauce in a condom when he threw it in the trash. Much respect for that.
Forgot about that one.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess to get to the last poet, anything before we close out?
I got like I have a whole collection of them here. But like, I love that shit. One of the things that my advice to women is this, and to young ladies, not like women. Yes, if you're to answer Sonia's question, she made a good point. If you're gonna wait and find your partner after you push your kids out the house, make sure you raise your kids right so they don't dump the babies there and ruin what you got going on with your new partner, because God could send you somebody at that age and both of y'all could grow old together. That's great. Hey, I ain't knocking you for that. Mad love. As far as the young ladies, mate selection. Make sure you choose your mate well so you don't end up with a bunch of fucking ridiculous ass baby daddies, because ain't nobody going to take you serious after that. And for the men, hold women to the same standard. They want you to make 6 figures, they better be young. They want you to, be in shape, they better be going to the gym too. You got to hold them up for the same standards, and don't be afraid to say what you want. And also be very careful not to mislead people and just be upfront. And at the end of the day, to end this live, I think love is a made up it's a made up social construct. I think that I'm going to use their own rhetoric against them to make them feel retarded. It is an exchange of pleasure for comfort. I am giving you comfort because I am providing the home, the shelter, and the clothes on your back, and you are giving me pleasure. We use the word love to kind of smooth away and put a sprinkle on the turd we call life. Because at the end of the day, when something bad happens, most divorces happen over finances. And that's just a sad, tragic reality. I'm not against y'all getting married. I'm not against y'all doing what y'all got to do. I just want you to be fully aware of what the fuck y'all are getting into. And God bless y'all. This is Megatron signing out.
Women don't love men. They love the way men make them feel. They don't love you.
Yes.
The difference between men is we actually love the woman. So that's the biggest difference that separates the two. Now, okay. So tomorrow, everybody.
That reminded me of that Bruno Mars song, for real. Like when he was saying, like he was singing, I would do all this shit for you, but you won't do nothing for me. What the fuck? I ain't singing it right, but
you guys will still sign up for it, which is the craziest thing I ever heard of. But anyway, make sure y'all tune in tomorrow around the same time. We didn't really get to talk about politics. However, dealing with women is political, even though I know no politicians actually touch it. Tomorrow,
the red pill movement is the true counterculture. The red pill movement is the true counterculture.
Tomorrow, we're going to talk about gas prices. tomorrow we're going to talk about everything that's going on politically when it comes to dealing with what's going on. Is gas prices are raising out the roof. Juicy Smollett basically got 150 days and he's crying about it. It's so much going on. We're going to talk about some political stuff. Hey, if you guys, 3 guys that's on the panel with me, if y'all want to join me tomorrow night, we're going to be going live tomorrow night. If you can, come in. If not, I understand. I'm going to end the broadcast right now. You guys can stay on to talk to me briefly after we're done. But everybody that tuned in, I appreciate it. Thanks for listening. Make sure you share this video. Subscribe to my channel. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers if you can. All right. I appreciate it.